So like in the last class, we've been seeing some scenario how BW works in. So as part of that, we based on the source fields and the reporting requirement, we have identified that we wanted all those InfoObjects, right? And then what I've done is I already created those InfoObjects. So in my BW info area, in the InfoObjects menu, I create these InfoObjects. If you see customer InfoObject, it is date of care, and what is the length here? 6. What was the length here? Where is Kunnar? Is it 10 6 Yeah, I think that was a different one. What we this is what sold to party, right? And care, and what is the length here? 10. So we have all the InfoObjects ready. So the next step would be I should start creating my cube. Okay, but now when I'm creating cube, you might feel it a bit difficult because the first time you're seeing creating cube, but understand you're just creating some structure, that's it, nothing else. So how do I do this? I'll go to my provider menu. You can just select your BW info area. Okay, sales queue area, right click and say what is create info. I can do it here, or I can get into even favorites menu. I already have my info here in the favorites, right? I can select this sales and say what? Either ways I can do. Create info queue. And say Z. I'm just defining some cube technical names as a SLS C01. Yeah? Demo sales BMW table VBAC something. I'm just using some description. And here we choose what type of cube do you want. What is this? We are going with standard cube. We'll see other cubes later. No, standard cube. So it takes me to a screen where I can start defining my cube. Yeah. You see description of the cube, technical name, and object is new because we have not yet activated it. Settings, you get to see the type of cube. What type of cube are we using? Don't worry on this. No. And the next you will have a folder called what? Okay, let's go with this. What is key figures? Now you will have keywords folder where I need to specify what keywords you want into the cube. Okay. So I have my InfoObjects all in my catalog. So what I can do, I can just choose catalog. What is this here? Key figures, and select. I wanted a count, net value. Then what else you wanted? That's it, right? How many keywords we target? 1, and then what? 2. Only 2. Right, as per my design, I only wanted 2, so drag these 2 into what? Key figures. Okay, boss. Next, next I should specify what characteristics, right? Expand the dimensions. So you can have 16 dimensions in a cube. Yeah. By default, there will be 3 fixed dimensions: data packet, what is this? Time and unit. By default, the data packet will have these 3 characteristics. What is this here? Technical characteristics. By default, get the technical characteristics into it. Then time dimension will hold all the time characteristics what you want. As per the design, what is the time you wanted? Day, year, and what? Month, right? So I can straight away select like this. Right click and say what? InfoObject direct input. Select what? What do you want? Cal day don't create. You just use what is already cal day, and then what do you want? Cal month, and then what? That's it. So I put all those time characteristics into the time dimension. Units I have not put anything, right? I have just used the key figures. When I use the key figures, it automatically takes unit characteristic into this. Why? Because if I go to the detailed definition of this key figure in depth, by max bit now. ఇది నేను చేయలే ముందు బ్యాచ్ స్టూడెంట్కి ఇచ్చిన సేమ్ అని అండ్ okay. Now if you see, does this keyword have reference to zero currency? If you see the definition of the key figure, it takes what? What is this? Zero currency, right? That's why when I bring in this keyword into cube, automatically the zero comes in. Wherever my keyword goes, the zero currency comes in, and that will get assigned to what? Unit dimensions automatically. And then I've got another dimension. I can create, roughly I'll just create one more. There's nothing in it. And then I create one more dimension. Right click and say what? Create new dimension, say dimension 2. Like this we can go, we can have 16. 3 are fixed, data packet, time and unit, and we can create 13. I'm okay with 2. Then what are the other characteristics we have? Let me specify into the dimensions. Sold to party, I'll put it to dimension 1. Then document type, I'll put it in dimension something. I'm just grouping somewhere. I'm not doing any analysis here. So the normal characteristics what we need, we have to put them into what? The user custom dimensions. And that's it. This is defining cube. You specify what keywords you want, characteristics to the dimensions, time characteristics to time dimension, and then activate. My cube is ready. ఉంటాయి మళ్ళీ చెప్తా 248 characteristics in one dimension. So is my cube ready? Ante na cube. So now my target container is ready. The source table VBAC is ready. Now I need to start building up a flow to get data from there and load into my cube. So how would I do this? Now where is my table? So I'm logging into ECC now. Okay. So I log into ECC system, and I need to define something called data source. I already have the connection also, right? I just need to create data source, which will basically define from which table I need to extract, what columns I need to extract, what data I need to extract. All the data source is the source of data, from where it has to extract. I need to define a component called data source, which will have all the source details into it. Okay. So I'm using a T code in ECC. I'm using a T code what? RSO2. I'm going in. It will ask me what type of data source do you want to create, because I'm extracting transaction data and loading it to cube. What type of data source will you create? Transaction data source. I'll say some data source name ZDS BMW SLS center. Okay, boss. That's my data source name. Say create. It will ask me to specify some component, actually like folder. Under which folder do you want your data source? I'm putting it in what? The SD kin. Don't worry on what it is. Just there's something called data source. I'm not teaching you anything. And then give some description. I'm giving same name in the descriptions. It will ask me from what is it? From which table you want to extract. What is the table name? VBAK. And then say what? Save. Okay, then this is your data source and this is structure. Okay, now down you get to see all the fields. Why it has brought all the fields? Because I said I would like to extract from the table, right? It has taken all the fields of the table and forms my structure. We call this as extract structure. These are the fields which will be extracted from ECC. But out of this, you didn't want all the fields, right? You don't want some fields. I can hide them which you don't want. Here that I don't want hide. And then this I don't want. Document category I need. I don't want this. Document type I need. Okay, don't hide it. Whichever you want, you don't hide it. I want to hide this out, hide this out. I want this VKORG division I need. Then group I need. I would hide this. Whatever the fields you don't want into BW, you can hide them. Tell me if there is something kunnar. Here kunnar I need, so I am not hiding it. Then what? Save. Is my data source ready? Done. That's it. Now you define your data source in your ECS system. And then what you'll do? Now I'll go back to BW. In the BW system, we'll have to replicate. Replicate means when I say replicate this data source, it reads the complete information of the data source to BW bus. So for replicating, I use a T code RSDS. Go in, say which data source you have. This one. It will ask me what is the connection between ECC and BW. Yeah. What is the connection? This is a connection T90. This is my connection between ECC and BW. So which data source do you want to replicate? What is the connection between these two? And then I'll say data source and say what? Replicate data source. It will ask me, do you want to replicate as RSDS or ISFS? RSDS is you want to replicate with 7 compatible or 3, because we had BW 3.x is different, 7 is different slightly. So you want to work out with data flow of 7, then I'll say what? RSDS, say OK. Done. Once it is replicated, now if I go to RSA1, if you go to source systems, this is my ECC connection, right? Right click and say what? Data source tree. You should find your data source here. Do you get to see? But you see that is inactive, so you should right click and say what? Change. After replicating, it will be inactive. Just see, these are data source details. Extract is through some program, and then these are the fields, right? See, why not? Why it doesn't have all the fields? You hidden, right? So the hidden fields will not come into BW, and say activate. So what are the fields you see in the fields tab is what will be coming to BW bus. So now in BW I have a component called data source which tells me what data is coming in, what fields are coming in. And in BW do have also target where I need to fill the data in. So now I need to do mapping between these two. Data source telling me what fields are coming and what data is coming in. And I need to push into what? Cube. I need to connect these two. I need to do mapping between these two. Yeah. That is what we do with transformations now. So this is the data source. Yeah. I'll go to favorites. What is a cube now? This is a cube. Right click on the cube and this option is what? Create transformations. Then you'll say target is cube. What is my source object? Data source. Which data source is it? This data source. Which source system is it? This source system. And say OK. Now here you specify. Now here if you get to this screen, in the left hand side you get to see all the fields of data source, what is coming from source. Right hand side you see all the targets. Now start doing mapping. VBRN field has to go into this one. Yeah. Created on has to go to what? Calday. Document category has to go to what? Document category. Net value has to go to net value. Then sales org has to go to what? Sales organization. Distribution channel to distribution channel. Division to what? Division. Sales group to sales group. Sales office to sales office. Sold to party to what? Okay. But I don't have the corresponding fields for this, right? You remember? These are the extra sales document type. I should have document type to document type. But for the year month I don't have this, right? So but for a counter, what do you want it? For every record you want it as 1, right? So can I say constant as 1? So I can use rules and to modify my data. Right click, I'll say what? Rule details. I want this to be what? Constant as what? 1. So for every record it takes 1. Then what about month? How should I calculate month? From the date I should calculate month or not? I can drag the date itself to my month. Date itself to year. Automatically because these are time characteristics, right? SAP will do the conversions automatically. From the date it takes month, year automatically. Should if you go to rule details, what is? You don't have to write any coding for getting month or year from the date. It does do automatic time conversions. That's it. I have done this. Activate. Is my flow ready now? So when I right click on this cube and say what? Display data flow. I can see the complete flow formed. This is your source system, data source, cube connected with what? Transformation. This is flow. The flow ready in the tunnel is ready. Now I need to start pushing my data through. Yeah. For doing the data loads, I use two things. One is info package and one is DTP. Because when you schedule the info package, it extracts data from ECC and loads into data source in BW. And to load from data source to cube, I should use DTPM tool. So select the data source, right click, say what, create info package, load from ECC to what, data source. From ECC source system, when I run the info package, it extracts till where? Yeah. So how many records have got? You remember in VBAC table we had 9,240. Say all the records have brought done to where? Where is my all data bus? In PSA, nothing but data source. You remember I told you first data enters into PSA always. I can see this like this. Data source nothing but PSA bus. Right click on the data source and your option is what? Manage. Select this request and say what? PSA. You see the record data. Yeah. Can I do editing of the record? Yes. Now next is I need to load from data source to cube or PSA to cube. Data source called as PSA anything you can call here. So how do I create DTP? Now when you have the cube here, you see a folder. What is this? DTP. Right click on, or you can right click on the cube. No issues. Right click and say what? Create DTP. Don't do anything. Just say activate. Don't touch any other property. Just say execute. Then what will this do? It will extract the data from PSA and load it to what? Cube. So it is loading this packet 1. Is it loading data in form of packets? Packet 1 like that. But now all data is coming in single packet finally. It is like monitoring. We are monitoring this request. Yeah. Done. Successful. It's for complete green. It means successfully done. This. Sorry. So basically, I'll have to see the content in the cube. So you loaded right. Now I would like to see the data in the cube. Right click on the cube and say what? Display data. I would like to see all characteristics. It's only showing 200 records, but if I want to see all, just scroll down and remove this 200. So it will show me all the data. This is mottham data. But if you want to, don't worry in the sequence. If you want, you can adjust the sequence. You can drag and drop. This is a layout. Okay. Document you want it to have customer. You want document type, division. Say in the cube, do you also see request ID? This is a request ID actually. You can hide this if you don't want to hide. Then do you see date, month and year? Yes, automatically, and you see the counter once you see the net value. Yeah. Next thing, what should I do? Once I have my data in the queue, yeah, report BEX query. So for doing reporting, we use BEX. When you go to start, programs, you'll have something. What is here? BEX, and within the BEX, when you want to design a query, we use a component called query designer. Just go to query designer. So I want to connect with what? BW system. You can understand this is like a front-end tool. Design your queries. Okay, this is a designer. Now I'll say what is it? Create new query. It last. What is this? Select provider. On which cube do you want to do this? What is it? ZSLS C01 is a cube. search for it and say okay. So it will show me all the cube objects in it. Either time, unit, dimension 1, dimension 2, key. You getting to see the entire cube definition here. Just drag and drop. I want to see on the customer wise. Yeah. Where is sold to party? Sold to party. I would like to see count of transactions. Net value of the order. I can change the description. I want it to be shown heading as what? Net value. Yeah? I would just say count. I want this to be customer. Yeah? You'll have properties like this you can control. Yeah? And I want division, document, type, category. Let him do analysis on any of this he wants. Yeah? I'll do all this and say year wise I would like to see customer list. Say date, let me put and month. See when you put things in the free characteristics, it means user can drill down on it later. Now I'll show you once. Say save. This is my query. That's it. End save button. Yeah. Say demo query. Underscore B Q, some technical name I'm giving in. Is my query saved? Now I can start running this query onto browser from here. But for me, I'm missing some configuration. That's why it doesn't run in. Okay, there's some problem. But I can show you output in the backend. We can also run the query in the backend here. And go to BW RSRT T code, RSRT, and then give your query. Specify your query name and say output is HTML format, and then say what? Execute. You get to see the report. Now, do you get to see the same output what we had in the Excel? 1994, 1995. Remember the other day, yesterday, same year wise customers and their values. And you're seeing all this data. If you want to go next set of pages, you can get in like this. Let's say I want to remove a customer from the drill, I can remove it. Yeah. Now I get to see only year-wise reports. Let's say I would like to do filtering only for some years. I can just click this filter, 10, 11, 12. Only these three I want. Transfer. So the data is filtered only for these 3 years. Now let me see it's showing net value star because there are different currencies. But okay. Now let me drill down on sales organization now. For each year, I get to see the sales org and their values. Clear this? Like this, user can do slice and dice, and you can get to see the graph. What graph you want to see? You want to see a line chart? It will show you line chart. You want to see pie chart? It will show pie chart. Yeah. You want to now if I change this drill down here, if I remove sales org, I would get to see only on the year wise here. I want to see column chart. You can also do broadcasting of the report. When I say broadcasting, let's say you want to run this report in the background, trigger the output of the mail to output of the report to an email or something you want to do. You can also do this. It's like reporting. Do you understand now what I'm doing with BW? Will this simplify the process for the customer? You don't have to download the Excel, do all the manipulations. I just showed a simple that could go on. The massaging of data in Excel could go to very complex situation also. So I can handle any complexity in BW like this. Do you understand what we are doing with BW, how I am doing it? Clear? Simple. I just want more information on this. Slowly I'll change this out now to get more information. So user can drill down on anything. Let's say I remove drill down on year. I drill down on say document type. Based on the document type, I would like to see like this. Okay. But look at this. What is the document type? AG, TA. Are you understanding something from this? So if I can give you the description of the document type, AG and then you will start understanding what it is. Right? Clear on this? So then what? For this InfoObject sales document type, instead of showing the key, I would like to show the description. If I need to show the description, should I maintain text table? Yes or no? Yeah. I'm just slightly enhancing that model. Okay. So I'll go to this. What is my document type InfoObject? Is it a AURT, right? Let me just hold on. I would like, if I go to ECC, I would like to get the meaning of it. What is that field? If I go to AC11, what is the table? V bag. For AURT, if you say search help, now do I get descriptions? What it says? What was the value there? AG add undana. Age might be this is truncated or something, and this is truncated, I think. Okay. Either way, IoT. IoT and this is outbound order. There are different meanings. So I want to get this description in BW report. So in the BW, when you want to, instead of showing the key, original value of the characteristic, I would like to show descriptions. So then we use a concept of text table. Remember I told you in BW master data will be of 3 types. Yeah. See what will I do now? See, I'll load the text data in BW now. So I'll go to first, what I'll do, I'll go to ART and say what? Change this InfoObject and say for this InfoObject, I'll say that every InfoObject or every characteristic InfoObject can have its own master database. Say customer InfoObject can have its own master data. Material can have its own master data. Document type can have its own master data. Every characteristic InfoObject, it can have its own master data. It can master data into 3 types: attribute, text, and hierarchy. So let's say you have a characteristic InfoObject. It can have attribute table, text table, hierarchy table, but not mandatory that you should have all the 3. It can have any one also. But for this, is this a characteristic InfoObject? Can this have attribute table? Can this have text table? Can this have hierarchy table? But as per my requirement, I want only text table for me. What I'll do, I'll go to what is tab? This is first. I'm just undoing things here. And now let's say I have InfoObject like this. Now when you go to master text tab, you enable this checkbox saying you want attribute table. You enable this checkbox to indicate you want what? Text table. You enable this checkbox to indicate I want hierarchy master data also. So every characteristic InfoObject can have attribute table, text table, hierarchy table. But not mandatory that you should have all the 3. Okay. Now I'm trying to have only what? Text, and I want the text with only short description, and that will be dependent on language. And say activate. Now it creates a text table automatically. This is the name of the text table. T and T. I can double click on this text table. I can see AURT language column, and what is this here? Short text. My text table is ready, but the table does not have data. Where is my data? In ECC. Again, I need to extract the text information and load into text data table. Okay. So what I'll do to do this? First, I need to convert this as provider. Now what I'll do? I'll go to my favorites. Select your info area. Say insert characteristic as what? InfoProvider. Set this out. So now you have got what this symbol indicating what? Text was. Now text is target now, ready. My text table is ready as a target. Now I need to extract, create data source, replicate, connect, load. Yeah. So from where should I extract this now? If you see, I have all my information descriptions. You couldn't actually. So I cannot control the search in particular data source. So what I'll do? What is this field AURT? Okay, double click on this. There's something data element here. Double click on this. Our description is AURT. Now what is there? Something what is here? Domain label kelte value just leda. What is value table here? You got value TVAK and better. Adoka table. Okay. So there is another database table which is giving me TVAK. It is giving me the description of this field. From this, which field is giving me the description? Look, there is field. What is field here? Description. So from this table I would like to extract, right? So now with this, did I find out that there is a table called TVAK which is giving me description of, but I don't need all the columns. Actually in this table I would like to extract list what? Only choose what? Deselect all. I want to select AURT and what? Busy and what on the field, yeah. So can I extract these two set of columns from this table, and that is going to be my description, yeah. TVAK. Now how do you create data source again? RSO2. Now this time what data source? I am extracting description, so I will create text data source. ZDS BW AUART something, yeah. Create. I can say SD some SD IO. I will say master data got IO. Anything I can say. You want to extract from table. Which table it is? TVAK. Then save in. You feel it simple. నాకు అన్ని హైడ్ అయిపోలే except the AURT and what? Description busy అని ఉండాలి అది. అన్ని సెలెక్ట్ ఆల్ లేదప్ప, అందరూ అదే అడిగేది కానీ లేదు. ఓకే, యాక్చువల్లీ ఎవడు ఈ హైడ్ చేయడం అన్నట్టు. బిజీ ఇక్కడ పెట్టేసిన. ఇది టీవీ B opens. It is there in this table. So there is another table which is giving that field, so I will say save. So now I can have language key, document type, description is fine. Okay, I accept this. I can just bring in all these three, that's fine, and then say what? Save. Then what will I do? I'll go back to what now? BW. Then next word. Search for your data source. Right click and say what? Change and activate your data. You can see these are the fields what is coming in and active. Then we'll start connecting this data source and your provider. So did you convert that master data text as provider? Right click on this text and say what? Create transformations. So language column to language, document type to document type, and description to busy. Activate. Now my flow is ready. Next word. I need to create info package. And what? Start. Next word. BDP. Done. Okay. Now I'll go to report. Now I'll let me see the descriptions. If I open the document tab and say maintain master database. So do I see the descriptions now in each of the language? Yeah. Now I'll go to Bex query and say for sales document type. Yeah. Display don't show me key. If I say key, if I'll say what? Show me text and text. Or I can say key and text both also I can say. But business would understand with what? Text. Save. Now if I go to my report and if I rerun this report again, if I say remove year, remove customer, and if I drill down on what? Document type, inquiries so many, quotations so many, debit note, credit note, contract, Oracle quotation. Now does it make sense a little bit? Do you business understands it? Did you understand the importance of text table? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Next, now what I want to do is like I will remove this document type. Let's say I want it on customers. There are so many customers, right? But what I want is along with customer name is like description. You understand about text table now. Next, I have a different requirement. Like I'm seeing customer, right? Along with customer, I would like to see their classification. Now my business, as per my business, I have classified my customers as exceptional, essential. So side of this customer, I would like to see their customer type also. So is it like property? You want to see more properties of a customer, then what kind of master data do you maintain? Attributes. So I will maintain that customer type as attribute for customer numbers. So what I'll do is let me explain this text. Now let's say this time I want to show you with flat file, not with R3. So what I'll do, one second, let me make the file ready. I just have these types. Okay, so now let's say, so there is some business user. What I want to was in the reporting I would like to see the drill down on this customer type also, but I don't have this customer type in ECC. We basically have this in our own Excel sheets, and we use this for in our logics. What అంటాడు ఎవడు మన పవర్ యూజర్ గారు చెప్తాడు. He says I download the VBAC data into Excel, then I have another separate Excel where I have got all the customer classification. I do VLOOKUP to these Excels and then do the data actually. So I wanted this information also into BW. So can BW integrate data from multiple applications? There are some data coming from ECC. Now I'm giving some data from Flatfile. Possible. Now I'll just save it. Okay, well, saved, done. So I'm going to extract data from this file into what? Into BW. So let me see this. How do you do this? You want to load, you want to maintain it for what? Customer type, right? So let me, do I need to have one InfoObject for a customer type again? Every column is one InfoObject. Now create a characteristic. BW what? C type, customer type. I will say char something around 15. Okay, active. My object is ready. But what I want is this InfoObject customer type should be actually an attribute of what? Of what? Of Kunnar, right? Now right click and say what? Change. So now for this InfoObject Kunnar, every characteristic can be maintained, can have its own master database. Now for this characteristic Kunnar, I would like to have, can I have attribute table, can I have text table, can I have every characteristic can have its own master database. Now I would like to model master data attributes for what? Kunnar. So I'll go to Kunnar and say what? As soon as I say with master, it does bring in new tab. These tab observe. When I say for Kunnar, I would like to, I want attribute table. Immediately ask me what? What attributes you want? So I want this InfoObject as attribute of this. Like this, you can model other InfoObjects as attributes of this and start formulating. Now it creates attribute table. See, if you go to master text tab, this is a P table, this is a master table. You can double click and see. Don't worry on this. So now do you have Kunnar, which is primary key, and we have customer type and non-key column, like attributes. Like all the properties of customer can be in attribute table like this. Okay. So now I would like to load this. Now again I'll convert this as provider. Insert characteristic as what? Now to get, so now what is the symbol indicate? What? Attribute. I can have characteristic only with attribute, only with text, only hierarchy is also possible. Now I'm going to load this from Flatfile. So for Flatfile, do I use R3 connection or file connection? I'm going to use this test connection, which is already there. I'm just say right click check. I'm not worried on creating it. It's already there. I'll just use it. I'll just right click on this Flatfile and say what? Data source stream. See, in case of ECC, you log into ECC, create data source and replicate, right? If it is Flatfile, you create data source here itself in BW. Select any folder, okay? Right click and say what is it? Create data source. What was it? Flatfile, BMW, C type, yeah? And what type of data source is it? Because my target is attribute data source, I'll say type is attribute data source. Say okay. Some description I'm going, extraction. It will ask me all the file details. Now from the new version of 7, we can also load from XLS file also. This XLSX old, only old. 1 second. And this is XLSX. File, save as. Will this be XLS now? Yeah. Customer new SC. Okay, boss. Only XLS, not XLSX is not supported still. A file, desktop. sheet to be which sheet it has to extract. Excel లో ఎన్ని మల్టిపుల్ షీట్స్ ఉండొచ్చు కదా, విచ్ షీట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ కస్టమర్ అండ్ సెగ్ అనేది నా షీట్ నేమ్ అది. హెడర్ రో ఉందా, డస్ ఇట్ హ్యావ్ హెడర్ రో? ఎస్, వన్ హెడర్ రో ఇస్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్. దట్స్ ఇట్. నౌ లెట్స్ గో టు ప్రపోజల్. If I make sure the file is closed, I can say load example data. Yeah? So it is proposing these two columns. Yeah? Fine. Go to the fields. Now it's not, I don't want this to be this thing. I want that to be char, and you can customize it. System is proposing it. I can still change it also. So now did I format this based on the system, based on the file? System is proposing those two columns. Yeah? Yeah, and I can customize those proposal also and activate. I can see the preview how data comes in. Okay, boss. Yeah. Alpha conversion. Okay. So now should I connect this data source and the provider now? Right click, say what, create transformations. Data source is this data source, but now what source system it is? Which system now? Test here. Map customer to customer and customer type to this alpha. Okay. Activate. Then what? Create info package. నాకు ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉండొచ్చేమో, పేజ్ బ్రేక్స్ కింద వచ్చినాయా? ఆల్ రికార్డ్స్ have come. DTP. I have not removed duplicate, so what I'll do, I'll just enable the handle duplicate report. Because when I download this customer data from transaction file, right, there could be multiple records of same customer. I did not remove duplicates, so saying remove duplicates. That's it, loaded. Now just say right click and say activate what? Just do this. Make it a practice whenever you activate master data. Logged that did. Once you finish loading, try activating your master database. Now try to see the data. Now for each of this, do you see customer types now? So I'll have to get to the BEX query and say customer I got, right? Because the attributes are dependent on this customer actually. So I'll say right click on the customer, or okay. If you go dimensions, sold to party expand. I should reopen this query again so that the changes of the backend does not get reflected. I'm just opening it again. I'm just logging it and logging in again. Opening the same query. Now I'll say get into this sold to party. Do you see a folder like attributes now? Expand, you get to see the customer type. So all the properties what you maintain as attributes, you get to see them as attributes. Now this you can drag it on to the customer. Now save. Now go to the report where you're running in. Now try to run the report. Now remove calendar here. Just look along with customer. Do you get these types also? That is attributes. Did you understand the importance of attributes? Importance of text. Yeah? చాలా ఉన్నాయి, సేల్స్ గ్రూప్స్ కూడా చాలా ఉన్నాయి. 29. ఓకే, ఇది బాగానే ఉంది. there are some 29 సేల్స్ గ్రూప్స్. ఇది కూడా చాలా ఎక్కువ. సర్లే, there are 29 సేల్స్ గ్రూప్స్. వాట్ ఏమంటే no you will have to show the group as hierarchical. You want to see like tree like structure, say all, you want to see a node like all, and when he expands all, he wants to see like say group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. And group 1 he wants to see some groups, and the group 3 he wants to see some, like you want to see like a tree like structure, which is what we deal with the hierarchies. So that is here. I am not showing you hierarchy of loading, I will just do it manually. Now look at this. You wanted to have maintain hierarchy for which InfoObject was? What is sales group? So I'll go to the InfoObject sales group. Where is it? This group. Right click and say what? Change. I don't want attribute, I don't want text, but I want what? Hierarchies, and say activate. Say OK. I'm not loading, they have not given any hierarchical data. I'll have to manipulate in BW itself. So what I'll do? What is this button? Maintain hierarchies. Say create Z test group. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to create nodes, text node, all. Okay. Under all I need one more. GROUP1. Again under all I want రెండు గ్రూపులు చాలు. Okay, under group 1 I need to have some sales groups. Now right click on this and say sales groups. దానిలో కింద కొన్ని వేస్తున్నా. Syllabus active. If you refresh, this will see, you get to see tree here, hierarchy. Second I'll have to close it out. I'm opening that query. I'll say for sales group, right? For sales group, I'll say display. Okay. I want to see with what hierarchy? Which hierarchy it is? Z test. This hierarchy name you created. So I'll say show this. You see a small tree here. So whenever you show sales group, show with hierarchy and let's go to the report and check the display. Now remove here, remove customer from the drill down. Now let me drill down on what? Sales group. Now do you see like node all, expand group 1, expand group, and you get to see. So when you want to see parent child data like that, you can have n number of levels. And I only had level like all groups, then this, but you can have n number of levels. You can have up to 97 level groups. So you can just go about expanding in and have the nodes. This is hierarchies. So did you get a fair idea about how the text would look like? What is the purpose of text table? What's the attribute table, and how the hierarchy looks like? And extracting, you can extract like this from flat file, R3, database, anything. You try to practice it more. Tomorrow I'll show you with we can integrate with database also. We can do that. Simple or tough? Only this, it practice. Yeah, still I was not teaching you all this. I come back again. I was just showing you. Still I am in the demo phase of showing you how BW looks like. BW ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఎలా చేస్తారు అని ఒకటే చూపిస్తుంది కానీ నేను నేర్పలేదు ఏమి. I'll come back to all InfoObjects, cube, everything in detail. Okay, I was just demoing you how BW is what we implement data warehousing solution like this. Now I am able to integrate data from multiple systems and model the data, then do reporting. And these BEX queries can be integrated into BO. If you want to integrate into BO, just go to query properties. You enable this checkbox, allow external access to query. Then they can start consuming this query into BO environment also. If you just enable the checkbox, they can start consuming in business objects. They can consume this square. Yep, okay. Is it tough or simple? Simple ga unda. So try to just go through this videos and then try to understand at a BW etla work. Get to see the terminology, attribute, text, hierarchies, transaction data, data source, source system, info cube, InfoObject catalog, info array. Try to get the vocabulary out, and then so next class we must focus on something called schema. Schema, now I'm creating a cube, right? In the backend, it actually creates a lot of tables, not one table. Because cube is a multidimensional model, I told you. It actually groups lots of tables to enable you multidimensional analysis for you. So how does it do? What all tables we have? And he was asking any limitation on how many characteristics we can have in one dimension, how many keywords we can have in one cube. That's what we'll have to get into detail. Okay, was fine. Thanks.